was a weekend of battle royales. We had Conkle against Cabea. We had Gregson against Hurd, Byrne against Harper. Some big names and some big games. And it's bye-bye to the bye week curse.
Yes, a whopping 43 tries scored across the 4 matches, which included a vintage Gloucester-Hartpury performance, a determined Trailfinders at Valisway, and an intriguing match at Northampton.
We'll hear from Quinn's boss, Ross Chisholm, and we've got a big giveaway ahead of the Big Game 16, and we'll hear from Laura Delgado answering her one question.
Yes, bit of a Quinn's theme, isn't it? Well, we've got our very own big game player here, because that's Philippa Tuttiett, I'm Nick Heath, and this is the Power Pod. Big game. It's all very festive. Philippa's in her Christmas jumper. I'm in my Santa hat. We all read the brief. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. Are you one who gets all your Christmas shopping done nice and early? Are the kids going to be happy with their choices?
Hopefully so. I'm not. I'm far more relaxed. I'm more of a Christmas Eve, get into the vibe, go in, I'll find something. My partner is a stark contrast to that. So of December 1st, there was a mad panic in the house that we hadn't bought anything. So we smashed Amazon in the first week of December, and now it's just a couple of nice little bits. I gotta pop into town later the week to finish off. What about you?
Very good. I think a few bits done, and I'm nipping away for Christmas for a few days.
Oh, hello! Where are you off to?
Going up to the Alps for a few days skiing. Some friends have got a chalet, basically, not having to pay for accommodation. Whoop, whoop.
Oh, Nick.
So, yeah, I am very much looking forward to that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that'll be gorgeous. So yes, I've got, I think, a few bits to do. We're doing a Secret Santa, so that helps.
It's a good way of doing it, isn't it?
All getting a little bit creative, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it all. And what a round 10 we had, 43 tries, as I mentioned. And the PWR is continuing to take shape. We are still seeing numbers going up with the Ilona Mar effect, all of that kind of stuff. So shall we get into it?
Okay, so on Saturday with the first game, we kicked off with Trailfinders 22, Exeter Chiefs 41. So Trailfinders were the first to punch, Grace White scoring off Abby Burton, but then ensued a Hope Rogers first half hat trick. She scored 4 in all as Chiefs wrapped up the bonus point by half time. They scored 7 tries overall, really impressive. But look, credit to Trailfinders, they stuck in it. Annabelle Meta scoring their 4th try and ensured that they got a bonus point from that match. Worth noting that was their 6th try bonus point of the season. Although a bit of a worrying moment, Emma Taylor been absolutely key for them. There was an incident where Hope Rogers sort of fell on the side of her knee and we saw her leave the field. So wishes to Emma Taylor. Hope she's okay.
Yes, and as we sit, we haven't got an update on that. I did ask for one from the club, but at the time of recording, it is not in. So, yeah, hope that's not as bad as it looked for Emma Taylor. It was a really good first half hour from Trailfinders. Olivia Leatherman, I thought, carried well. Shia Pinnock as well. It's just penalty discipline. Exeter Chiefs just wait to pounce on you. They'll kick it up the line. If it's in range for a line out, into the corner it goes. They don't worry if the first line-out drive doesn't work. They'll get another penalty. That's what saw Hope Rogers over 4 times. It's just, it's where Exeter Chiefs prey on you. They're like, go on, concede a penalty because this is where we're going to build and this is how we score. And they do. It was just incredibly effective, I thought.
Yeah, you could just see, couldn't you, after that initial burst from Trailfinders, Exeter just slowly took control of the game. It wasn't like one big thing and you're like, oh gosh, that was the momentum change. It just slowly crept in and it was about those penalties and, like you say, capitalising on them. And I know a lot of praise went to Hope Rogers, rightfully so. That girl just keeps every season, she just backs it up. But I also thought Dorothy Wall got through an awful lot of work as well. Another very good performance from the Chiefs.
It was. 2:00 game then was Gloucester-Hartpury against Saracens at Kingsholm. And it was a big statement win. 47 points to 31 for the defending champions. Outscoring Saracens. Again, there were 7 tries scored to 4. A bit of revenge for Gloucester-Hartpury, feeling that they had that slightly frustrating loss at the Stonex. It was still a 2-point game at the hour mark, 33-31. But Neve Jones, Matt Carson seeing the cherry on whites home. Shout out to 2 tries Zoe Harrison for Saracens. She bagged 21 points from the game. Really, really good display from her. For Gloucester-Hartpury, Emma Singh scoring 17 points in a victory that lifted the Circus into 3rd place, seeing Saracens drop to 4th.
Yeah, what a game. What a game. Like end-to-end stuff, just constantly. And it really feels like the only sort of difference in the end between them was the fact that Gloucester-Hartpury started so well. They had that initial bit of dominance. But, I mean, credit to Sarries getting themselves back in it. I think overall, Gloucester-Hartpury had more possession, more territory. But in regards to sort of attacking ability, they actually look pretty even. So it was a very, very good game. But once again, Gloucester-Hartpury, you could just tell they had that little bit of edge, that little bit of bite about them, you know? And and I think that was just the subtle difference.
Yeah, and I saw co-captain Mo Hunt on Sunday. We were working on the Champions Cup. She was definitely happier. Got herself on the score sheet. Team performing much better. Now in 3rd. And yeah, after a solid start to the season, given Bristol have that game in hand over Saracens, the Londoners could find themselves in 5th. Once that game's been played. I mean, this season is really a battle to avoid that position. It's like the last seat in musical chairs.
Yeah.
It's going to be absolutely gripping. And of course, in the fixture, some things in life are certain: death, taxes, and Sarah Beckett yellow cards. That just tends to happen. I think Zoe Hallcroft got one as well. So
yeah.
But yeah, Gloucester-Hartpury doing the bizzo.
Yeah, certainly. Okay, the next game at 3:05 was Loughborough Lightning 22, Harlequins 40. So Quins have broken the bye week stat. Sorry,
There we
Nick.
go. I know. It had to happen at some point.
It had to, and you know what? I kind of all the teams, I'm happy it was Harlequins. They can break that. I don't mind that. It was a great tussle at Franklin's Gardens where Lightning ultimately came up short, but did secure a 4-try bonus point. 6 tries from Quins, including 2 from player of the match, Jade Conkle. Was that possibly the easiest player of the match decision ever? I mean, you're normally like, oh, it could be between. No, Jade Conkle. And look, at one point, you know, we were all worried, weren't we, that she had an injury to her ankle. She was certainly looking worried, but shook that off and cracked on with the game. The match, although did have some notable injuries, Nicole Wythe looked in a lot of discomfort with what we think might be a dislocated shoulder, and Isla Curfew with her ankle, both forced to leave the field. But let's hear from a very happy Quins boss, Ross Chisholm, courtesy of our friends at TNT Sports.
We come off the bye week and we knew there was the stat around no teams gone off our bye week. So, look, we probably showed it in the first 20 minutes around some of the breakdown areas we made early on. But we spoke half time around winning the breakdown and fixing up our collision stuff. And I thought in the second half we came out and we showed that. So it's never easy to come here and win. Loughborough Lightning are a great side. So we are delighted to get that win.
Very happy, Ross Chisholm. Little surprise there. Good result for Quins on the road. And yeah, I feel like Loughborough Lightning might be a little bit hard done by. I think they should have had a penalty try. There were a number of warnings against Harlequins. Then they, I think brought them all down. Sarah Bonner was yellow carded. And it wasn't a penalty try. I was in full agreement with Katie Daly-McLean, who was on commentary. But what about Jade Conkle, you mentioned? I mean, she got in from her shift as a firefighter at midnight, captaining the team the next day, away from home, thinks she's injured herself, crying and upset on the field, then shakes it off, as you say, carried on, scoring 2 tries, earning player of the match. Apparently, she said to Jenny Drummond and the team afterwards that she's going to be using her Clinique goodies after fighting a few more fires. What sort of woman is Jade Conkle? Ridiculous.
That's amazing. My gosh, you kind of forget that there are still players obviously juggling that lifestyle, I mean, that's not like a sit behind the desk and, relax your legs until you got a play job. That's a proper job. Oh,
Yeah.
she's been amazing this season. It's so good to see her back and what she could do for Scotland, who are already on a bit of a momentum. They are creeping, going about their business. They are targeting that second place in the Six Nations next year. They've got to be. And with someone like Jade Concord back to full fighting form, sure, she's going to be a real one to watch for them, isn't she? But
Yeah.
look, back to the game. Loughborough Lightning, yeah. And you know what? I actually left this game the first time. There was mistakes, there was handling errors, there was things that didn't go right, but I didn't feel angry, frustrated. I felt like excited, frustrated. Like you could see these individuals finally putting up their hand. You're like, yes, that's what Emily Scarrett does. Yes, that's what Aleph Kelter does.
Yeah.
Kabea getting the turnovers. You're starting to see these superstars, and still, granted, they're not all coming together. It's not all perfect, but I left that game feeling far more excited about what could be, rather than sort of disheartened about what was not there, if that makes any kind of sense. And I was
Yeah.
looking at the score because I did feel at times, it was very even. And if you consider that Scarrett kick through within about the first 5 minutes, it was just an ugly bounce of the ball, but it was into a load of space. If the winger was able to catch that, that's try time, okay? So
Yeah.
let's be romantic about it and say that's a full 7. There was another period where it was just hands out to the wing, and again there was a handling error, so that's another 7. Then you've got what should have been the penalty try, because there was a collapsing of maul. It led to a yellow card. 9 times out of 10, if you cause that infringement and the maul is going forward, well, then the argument is, well, if that person hadn't have done that, the try would have been scored, and that's why penalty tries are then given. So that's 21 points.
Yeah.
That would have
It's a
won them
big
the
swing.
game. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, gutted for them in a way, but great they've got that bonus point. And just like I said, I left that game feeling, oh, okay, here we go. Now let's just get everyone holding hands rather than dancing on their own, and they could be onto something.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, let's all be holding hands while dancing around. Very good. All right, let's just move on then to the last game of the round, which was the Sunday game, 2:00. Bristol Bears against Sale Sharks. It finished 54-17 to the Bears. It was all going pretty well until the 37th minute, because it was 2 tries apiece, 12 points all. There would have been smiles on the Sale Sharks coaching benches, but then the Shaftesbury Park floodgates opened. There was a Lovibond score, a penalty try opening up the gap before half-time, before 4 second-half Bears tries, including a Lark Atkin-Davis double, doing the business. Just the one further Sale score from Holly Thorpe as the Northerners went home with nothing. And unfortunately for Rachel Taylor and Katie Zelley-McLean and Michelle Orange and co., that has been the case just too often this season, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Look, you can't knock the girls for their effort. They've certainly held all the big teams to a certain level. It's not like the floodgates have opened from the very beginning and that they've just been completely dominated in games. They have troubled teams. They've scored against big teams. And I think that's the positive that they're going to be taking, is that from most games, they've managed to get some tries on the board against, top competition. Whereas we've seen some of the top teams have been nilled in this league. So it's finding those small wins and building on them and making sure you use that to continue the motivation to keep trying and keep pushing.
Yeah, and 8 tries from Bristol. That was pretty comprehensive. They'll be pleased to have secured that to keep the momentum rolling, knowing that all eyes are on them ahead of their new arrival coming back after Christmas. So yeah, Dave Ward will be purring pretty nicely. And look, our thanks to Bristol for sharing a couple of our social media clips. It's seen our numbers go up as well on one of our reels, so that's nice. We're all benefiting from our new friend arriving in the league. So there we are. So round 11 is coming to us just before Christmas, and we have 3 games. Then there is that one being kept back until afterwards. So 3 games on Saturday, the 21st of December, starting with Saracens hosting Bristol Bears at 2:00. Mammoth clash with these two side by side in those 4th and 5th places in the table. At the same time, Sale Sharks will kick off at home to Loughborough Lightning, and an hour later, unbeaten Exeter Chiefs are back at home with defending champions Gloucester-Hartpury, the visitors, in another monster fixture. It is then on the 28th of December after Christmas, after the Sprouts and Turkey are going down, that the Harlequins' big game doubleheader will see the women running out first as Leicester Tigers head for the big day out at Allianz Stadium. Philippa.
Nice. All right. So we're going to be kicking it off with the first game, which will be 2:00, Saturday, 21st of December. Saracens against Bristol Bears. This is so tasty. Look, Sarries, who have now lost 3 of their last 5, Bristol 4 wins in a row. So stark contrast coming into this in regards to their momentum. The game will be live streamed from the Stone X. Thank you, Sarries. This will be the Bears' last chance to impress their new USA fans watching remotely before their record-breaking home game on January the 5th.
Yeah. I looked it up. Bears made a whopping 735 metres against Sale through 165 carries. For context, Quins beating Loughborough, they did that with 434 metres off 141 carries. So it is a step up from there. I think Saracens have got to try and starve the Bears of possession, and they like to kick territorially. They've always had that kind of all-court game, Sarries, and will look to try and ping teams in the corner, but you are likely to be handing the ball over to them, and I just wonder whether it's worth reconsidering that side of the strategy a little bit. While some of the Sarries players I thought were in good mode defensively, Kelsey Clifford making 24 tackles at the weekend, May Campbell 21, Georgia Evans 19, they still missed 26 overall compared to just 6 missed tackles from Gloucester-Hartpury at the weekend. So there's a defensive shift being put in, but there needs a tightening up on the actual accuracy of the hits.
Yeah, I noticed that they were leaving that ruck area, Saracens, against Gloucester, and they were preferring to fan out, stay on their feet, and then try and manage and back their defence. But like you say, with that amount of missed tackles, look, it's credit to Gloucester-Hartpury because we know every single player on that team has got feet. Like, no one's just a one-line straight run. Everyone puts in a little step here or there, and that's what was managing them to get beyond that gain line. But that's exactly what Bristol have as well. They've all got feet. They are very confident keeping that ball in hand. So I wonder if we'll see a slight change of tact here. Will they be targeting that breakdown a bit more to try and slow them up and try and sort of stifle their play? Or have they just been smashing the one-on-one drills this week and they're going to go, no, this is how we do? Because, they will go in that ruck, but it's more when they're defending near their try line or unless it's really clear and obvious. But it seems to be their defensive ploy at the moment is stay out, stay on your feet and put pressure on.
Yeah, and with Sarries losing, 3 of the last 5, they really, they need to get back and make this home advantage tell, don't they? They need to make a statement, get themselves securely back in that top 4, knowing that Bristol have got that game in hand, that Chiefs game that was postponed. We still haven't got news on the disputes committee or as to whether there's going to be, that game is going to be repositioned in I think there's an off week in February where it might be played. So yeah, we don't quite know how that's going to turn out, but this is a game that Sarries, are we talking must-win games at this side of the season? Maybe, maybe not. But I think against fellow teams in that top 4, yes.
Yeah, and being the last one before a bit of a break, it's like that whole cliche. You want to score before the halftime. You want to finish your last game in that little break on a win. And I was looking back to the last time they played. It was actually me and you did the comms on that in round 3. Sarries won that 41 to 24 at Bristol. But actually, it was very different teams because there were still players coming back from the WXV. So, classic example with Bristol, they didn't have Holly Aitchison, they didn't have Sarah Byrne, they didn't have Hannah Bottoman, they didn't have Abby Ward, they didn't have Lark Atkin-Davis. Players like Kira Bevan just came on in the half time. And from a Sarries perspective, they were missing Jess Breach, Marley Packer, Rosie Galligan. But, it's looking like from Bristol's perspective, they could be fielding nearly half a completely different team.
Yeah, that's really going to help bolster the ranks if they can use those players to turn that result around from last time. So there we go. That is the the first game. The second game is also a 2:00 game. So it's Sale Sharks who are down in 9th against Loughborough Lightning in 6th. This one taking place at the Corpac Stadium, Hayward Road. Game will be streamed via the Global Yo app. So that is an app you download, and then there's a Sale Sharks page, and you can go and watch it from there. It's fairly straightforward, but it's not quite YouTube yet, but still, you should be able to watch the game there. The hunt for victory, the sniff of blood in the water for those Sale Sharks goes on. With 3 losses in a row now, though, for Lightning. I just wonder, Sale Sharks would they fancy themselves at home for a bit of an upset here? They will be away at Tigers in January, so they'll no doubt be targeting that match. It didn't go the way they wanted to when they had Tigers at home. But what a scalp if they could kick on and get some momentum, if they could upset Loughborough Lightning here. I mean, Nathan Smith was screaming blue murder from the stands at the Cint Stadium at Franklin's Gardens by all accounts on Saturday. I haven't been able to get hold of the post-match interview, but I think, while Philippa, you were saying, I was sort of pleased, frustrated in a way. I think Nathan Smith must be tearing his hair out because he's got all these shiny cars in his garage, but he can't quite get them to win the race at the minute.
Yeah, and look, that's what a coach should be. I can, as a fan, I can stand by and go, oh, I'm still quite happy because I've seen bits. But as a coach, you can't say that, gone, oh, it's all right. The season's okay. I've seen the odd glimpse. Well, that'll carry us through. Obviously, as a coach, he's going to, and rightfully, should be wanting more from those players. This is going to be a tough one for Sale because I feel that Loughborough are going into this with lots of momentum, lots of confidence. Their review, the clips, the what ifs and the maybes, and it's going to be all about put those right, make those connections, and they could really do some damage on Sale. I think Sale, taking anything from the review of Harlequins and how they played against Loughborough, I thought their defensive press in midfield was really good. They were shooting up off the line, and at times it really did control Loughborough's play. So you could see they had that ambition to go wide. You could see the back line was set for it, but the pressure that defensively came on meant that they had to go short. But still, when they're going short, that means Aleph Kelter's running at you. So, you can control it to a certain extent, but you've got to be prepared to make those hits as well.
Yeah, thought Aleph Kelter did look great as well at the weekend. She got a couple of turnovers. I thought Emily Scarrett was starting to just show a little few more glimpses of the old Scaz. A couple of little darting runs, backing herself to actually, go for space rather than take contact. I thought, yeah, there are sort of some little signs that, of course, Emily Scarrett, having been out for a while, taking her a while to get really truly back in and up to speed. It does when you've been out for the time that she has. And I also thought this is timing it nicely. She has a little run in, looks great towards the end of the season, in flying form for Six Nations. Oh, hello, Home World Cup. Anyway, for Emily Scarrett and the lovely human that she is, I hope that is going to be her path. So yeah, Sale Sharks, Loughborough Lightning. That is the other 2:00 game on Saturday.
And then at 3:00 on Saturday, we've got top of the charts, Exeter Chiefs taking on Gloucester-Hartpury. And that's going to be down in Sandy Park. So this match will also be live streamed on YouTube. Thank you very much. First against third, a meeting of the 2023 PWR finalists. If anyone is to break the Chiefs' win record, will it be Sean Lynn and co? The Cherry and Whites have scored 45 tries this season compared to Exeter's 40, but they've conceded 10 more, proving that defence for Chiefs is really what it's all about.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting little stat. It's often the way with Gloucester-Hartpury, isn't it? We'll score more than you, but we might let in a few more. But it is that wall of defence that can prove so difficult, particularly at Fortress Sandy Park, where the Chiefs have only scored, I think it's 30 tries all season, which is a brilliant number. Yeah, I love the look of this fixture again. It's like we said, that meeting of the 2023 finalists. Are Gloucester-Hartpury now in enough form and flying enough to go there and do a job? I still think that when you turn up at Chiefs, however confident you're feeling, just being out on Sandy Park, suddenly it can just ebb away in front of those stands. But yeah, I can't call this one. Absolutely can't call it.
Yeah, I know. It is really tricky, isn't it? And you can't really say this is their major thing and this is their major thing and which major thing's going to win, because they both do everything very, very well. If anything, like we've highlighted, maybe Exeter's defence has been a bit better, but then equally I feel in games gone past, Exeter have been very patient and they've done that, and they've just trusted their defence, held out teams, and then they've pounced on that turnover and they've been really clinical in scoring. And I just wonder, will they be able to do that against Gloucester-Hartpury? I just don't know, because Gloucester-Hartpury are so patient and so good at keeping on that on the ball, and we'll just go from edge to edge and edge to edge, and defence is tiring. So is it a case of Gloucester-Hartpury going to go down there and Sean Lynn's going to go, look, this may be a 30 phase game. All right, be prepared for that. Don't panic. Just keep going, just keep going, just keep going, and tire them out, and almost use their willingness to defend against them type of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah.
potentially.
Yeah, I was looking up the stats from the game against Sarries as well, and yeah, more than 60% possession territory for Gloucester-Hartpury, 11 penalties conceded, and 7 turnovers conceded. But that missed tackle stat 6, I thought was really key, and defenders beaten 26. So. Yeah. That shows their attacking prowess, and that is going to be the sort of test defensively that, with what we know that Exeter Chiefs have, they're going to be put to. So yeah, I'm all over wanting to catch as much of this one as possible.
Yeah. But one clear message from Sean Lynn's got to be discipline. 2 yellow cards last round. When we talk about how good Exeter are at just biding their time and just pouncing on penalties, they're very good at making the most when a team is down to 14 as well. So they've got to be squeaky clean down in a place where they're going to be feeling all the pressure, all the noise of the amazing Sandy Park and those drums. That'll be almost just as much of a sort of a mental game, won't it, as much of it is a physical one.
Yes. Okay. And then, everybody will have unwrapped their presents and had arguments with their family over where the bread sauce is, or all those sorts of things for those who celebrate. And then, after Christmas, the 28th, this does count as a round 11 game, but it's just pushed a little back because Harlequins, Leicester Tigers will be the 3:00 kickoff at Allianz Stadium as part of Big Game 16. It's live on TNT Sports. There'll be Rudimental playing. And it's a brilliant festive fixture, key part of the calendar for many Quins fans and London-based rugby fans as everybody decides it's time to get out of the house for a few hours. And look, my only question on this, is this the best PWR fixture that could have been rostered on for such a big occasion? Because I don't know how many tickets they've sold, but it's offered 60, 70, 80,000. I don't know how it's tracking this year, but that's a big number that might come in and go, oh well, let's go a bit earlier and watch the women's game, and it's a big one on TV. There's a lot more cameras because it's a double header as well, so they put a bit more resource into it to cover the women beforehand. And I guess they didn't know when they did this at the start of the season that Harlequins were going to be having the monster season that they are. But yeah, it's also Tigers coming from the bye weeks. Who cares? The stat's gone now. The stat's gone. Doesn't matter. But yes, and actually, most importantly, we should tell everybody that we have a big ticket giveaway. We've got a pair of tickets to Big Game 16. Thank you very much to our friends at Harlequins. We are giving that away on our social channel, on our Instagram. So I'm sorry if you're not on Instagram, but if you are, head over there for your chance to win 2 tickets to Big Game 16. You get to go to both games, the men's and the women's, but it's Harlequins Leicester Tigers that are going to be doing the business in the PWR.
Yeah, so if anyone hasn't got their Christmas presents for their partner, this is a cheeky in. Get some tickets, tell them that you planned it forever. We won't tell anyone.
Yeah. So I feel a little bit like, and I don't mean this in any disrespectful way to Leicester Tigers and Tom Hudson, but I almost feel like Quins have got the opportunity to use this game as a bit of a celebration in front of their fans as to how good they currently look.
Yeah, and I think just touching on your point, I mean, I don't know in regards to logistics how far ahead these things are organised, but if it was prior to the season, like you say, no one saw Harlequins performing as well as they are. And, Tigers have got some wicked superstars in there, Meg Jones, for example. So maybe they were looking at it thinking, oh, this could be really competitive. There's some superstars in there, so maybe they were, coming from it from that view. But equally, let's not write Tigers off. Let's see how they rise to the occasion. Because if there's one player in the league, I'm going to put my neck out here, but I'd say one player in the league who is just completely unfazed and in fact possibly more motivated by the more cameras that are on her is Meg Jones.
Yeah, it
out of
certainly
everyone.
is. Yeah, it's true. I actually just checking, it is a double header with the men's game, so it is the men who are also playing Quins against Tigers. So I guess that's probably been part of it as well. I just suddenly realised I hadn't fully checked that. So yeah, it is a Quins Tigers double header. So that makes a bit more sense to the selection of the fixture. And yeah, I mean, Meg Jones is not unfamiliar with that Twickenham turf, so can she help her side along to a little festive number. I know Christmas and festive periods can be difficult times for all. And look, Meg Jones, we send all of our condolences to her. She's had a really, really, really tough year with loss. So we sent her our very best and hope that a big day out to potentially run riot at Allianz Stadium is exactly what she needs. All right, so let's then have a look at the table. Exeter Chiefs played 8 on 38 points. They are still unbeaten up there, of course. They've got that game in hand from that game against Bristol yet to be played. So below them, the next 3 teams have all played 9. That's Quins in second on 35 points, Gloucester-Hartpury in third with 33, Saracens in fourth on 32, Bristol with 30. So that's why I'm saying, depending on what happens with that Bristol Chiefs game, Sarries could be on the slide. They will certainly hope to put an end to that this coming round. Trailfinders on 18, Loughborough Lightning on 13, Leicester Tigers 6, South Sharks 0 points, unfortunately. All right, the power line has been buzzing, and we're delighted that you've been in touch with us. We would love you to continue being over the festive period. Tell us if you've got some Christmas presents that are related to the PWR. What are you looking forward to in 2025? 07880 716 219. First up, we had a message from Lizzie. Hi there, I'm a new rugby fan. I've been following a couple of seasons. I even have some kit, but I'm still confused by the positions and what they do. Do you know any good resources? That's a really good question, Lizzie. And I'm hoping that we will be seeing more and more people coming into the game over the course of the next year as women's rugby goes stratospheric with the home biggest World Cup ever. I was having a little look online because I thought it was a really good question. There'll be people out there that also want to know. I'm going to recommend Will from Couch Rugby. He's got some great explainer videos. The one I'm going to link I'll put it in the description of the podcast. It's got over 430,000 views. So it's clearly helping quite a few other people. And the comments are all really positive. He just starts by simply saying, look, broadly, there are forwards and backs. And as a person, as a player, you tend to find out which of those tribes you're in and almost never leave for the other one. It's all beautifully explained. Videos of men's and women's rugby in there. So that's what I would recommend. Did you have anything you wanted to chuck in there, Philippa?
No, I'm just so glad that she asked, because the amount of people that will follow rugby for years and years and years and years and years and generally don't know half of the positions, don't know half of the rules. So I think in this year where we are going to have so many new eyes on the women's game, on generally on rugby game, please send in your questions, no matter how silly you might think they are, no matter how much you think, oh, I really should know that. Just send them in, because guaranteed there's going to be other people out there going, oh yeah, what does a prop do?
Yeah. I've always wondered about whether it's worth doing. I always look for the shortcuts in explaining things, and whether there's a way of using the animal kingdom to really
I love
help
that. Yeah,
show what the positions are. Whether it's the powerful storming rhino or. So anyway, there is that guide. It's Couch Rugby on YouTube, and the link is in our podcast description. So thank you for that one, Lizzie. We had another question as well on the power line. Hi PT and NH, love the pod and all you're doing for the women's game. Thank you very much,
Thank
Matt,
you.
who this is from. With the Champions Cup going on at the moment in the men's game, it got me thinking, how far away do you think we are from having a similar competition in the women's game, or would there be an alternative competition you would propose? How about a URC-style league that includes the PWR? Interested in your thoughts, Matt, who is a Bears fan. Philippa.
Yeah, very interesting. Yes, down the URC sort of front, I have talked about this before, where we've got something currently running called the Celtic Challenge, which involves 2 teams from Wales. We've got Scottish teams and we've got Irish teams. And I just wonder, maybe there's an opportunity to open it up to Italy as well, which would follow more like the URC, and maybe even some of the South African teams as well, as we know they've now got professional franchises down there. So that could be a really exciting development. We constantly talk, and this is the same in the men's game as well, about bringing the Welsh teams into the English Prem or into the PWR. And I kind of think let's be a bit more ambitious and maybe try and make those 2 separate tournaments as best as they can possibly be. And especially with the women going into the World Cup, the more coverage, hopefully the more money we might get into the game. So let's look to try to push the Celtic Challenge, and maybe a slight name change if we're going to open it up to the Italians and the South Africans. And maybe it could be something that runs alongside the URC, I'm not sure. But equally, I do love the idea of a Champions Cup involving some of the French teams, because we know how good some of those top French teams are. So yeah.
Chance to play Bordeaux, chance to play Montpellier. These sorts of games would be great, wouldn't they? I
Mm.
think that for me is the most exciting. I think it could be what the French need more than anything as well, to really, really push those standards from some of the internationals that are playing in places like the PWR. I think it's a resources issue. I hate to say it as a very boring sounding answer, but you're only going to get teams able to travel around and play all those games if the money and the investment comes in. And at the minute, it is not quite there. So teams would not be jumping on planes from South Africa to come and play club games, for a while. But if the numbers keep going up, if the sponsorship revenue keeps coming in, if the TV deals get done, then this is what will keep things evolving. And I think this, for me, Philippa, in a very broader philosophical sense about the women's game, is the fact that we are so excited for the next year. We can really feel that this is a sort of rocket-fueled moment for it. But it's all sort of relative as well. I sort of feel like it's important to say, well, look, we can feel where it's come from 2014 when England won that World Cup in France, and where it's gone in that 10 years. The next 10 years is going to be part of that journey as well. It's not as if after the final in 2025 at Allianz Stadium, suddenly we're like, right, and now the women's game is on a equal pedestal to the men's with the amount of interest and money and all that kind of thing. It's going to be a big turbo boost to push it up. But we can be excited about the full length of this journey as we continue to watch the women's game grow, rather than expecting it to turn that corner and be bright and shiny and ready to be unwrapped come September, October 2025. So anyway, those are my thoughts on it. So Powerline 07880 716 219. If you'd like to keep in touch over the festive period, we'd love to hear from you. Okay. Now, time for our one question. And, at the time of recording, because we're recording slightly earlier in our little festive period, we've not actually had this one through from Laura Delgado, Bimba herself. So I'm going to ask Philippa to just do a really generic reply to this, because we won't have heard it at the point that we're recording. So let's just refresh our minds as to what the question was from Exeter Chiefs and USA Eagle, Hope Rogers.
I would like to ask Bimba at Quins, from one prop to another, what is your favorite part or item at a Christmas dinner?
Yes, all about that favourite item at a Christmas dinner, Christmas lunch. So let's hear from Bimba herself, Laura Delgado.
Hi, PowerPod. Laura Delgado, Bimba here. Thank you to my friend Hope Rogers for my one question. My answer is the people around, the people who I share the day in the Christmas dinner, of course. And now, for my one question, I would like to ask to Bas Bulu at Lobro the question about with who, with famous or interesting people, she will share a Kava session. Thank you so much.
There we are, Philippa. Oh, what an answer you can you can react to. Would you have said the same?
Yes. Yeah, had it last Christmas, actually. Very nice.
Great.
Yeah.
Excellent. We'll see how that fits by the time Caleb does the edit.
So, power play time. Okay, lots of really good rugby being played at the weekend, lots of fantastic tries. This one goes to the moment when Harlequins, Ellie Kildun runs an incredible line, tight to the ruck, just bursts out of nowhere. Boom, she's gone. World Rugby Player of the Year, flashy, flashy lights. Everyone's looking at her, but she gets chased down. Okay, no worries. I can see someone on her shoulder. Is it Kaylee Powell? No, it's not. Is it Lisa Neumann? No, it's not. Hello, Connie Powell. Oh my gosh, hooker, like full on keeping up with Ellie Kildun in regards to the strides. If anything, I think Connie was catching her. She was catching World Rugby Player of the Year. It was incredible. And I mean, yes, okay, she was also hitting 25-meter back ball with like the most beautiful spiral fast pass. But for me, the power play was that moment, the burn that she put on. As fast as any winger I've seen, Connie Powell, power play.
Love it.
Well
love
done.
it. We love a mobile front rower, and Connie Powell is definitely an epitome of that. But yes, I think even actually, was it I thought was it on commentary then? I also heard Claire just say,
Yeah.
and it's Connie Powell. Like,
Yeah.
like, yes, it really is.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely
excellent.
awesome.
Well done, Connie Powell, getting Philippa's power play this week. Okay, well, we have looked back at the games from round 10. We've looked ahead to the games in round 11. It's any other business time, Philippa. Anything to bring to the table?
Well, I would actually genuinely like to know, when are we recording our next pod?
Oh, yes, that's a good question. Well, we will, I think, sit down to record on New Year's Eve. So New Year's Eve morning, I think. Should we get together then? And then we can have something bright and shiny for people to tune into on New Year's Day, sometime around there, as we look forward to those first fixtures of 2025. We will tiptoe our way into Rugby World Cup year. How does that sound?
That sounds very good. But are you going to be at some glorious location and make me really jealous again?
No.
Okay, good, fine. Then we can do it that day.
I mean, other than the very glorious location that is Tooting in southwest London. So that's where I will aim to be. Where are you spending Christmas then?
So we are hosting this year. So we've got all the family coming round. Yeah. So we did like the M&S food order in February. So we're picking that up. Honestly, you've got to get in early. It's crazy. So we've got that to pick up next week. But yeah, so we're gonna be hosting. All finishes for me on Thursday. I'm off. I'm done. Brunches, lunches, dinners, and Christmas parties.
Cocktail season is arriving in the Tuttiett household. Love it. Okay, well, look, we have loved having your company over the course of the season so far. We wish all of you celebrating the most happiest of holidays a Merry Christmas as well. Enjoy a walk, enjoy some food, enjoy some drinks, enjoy a cuddle with the people close to you, and we will be back. Don't forget to enter our competition for tickets for Big Game 16 if you'd like to get along to that around London times. But in the meantime, I think that is about us. The Power Pod is a Level production produced by Caleb Matomboa. Merry Christmas, everybody. Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas!